What's up, agents, and welcome back to another Division video, where today we're going to talk all about the seasonal modifiers and some really good combinations that I've been using to get through some of the tougher content in the game right now. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Let's get straight into it. So first of all, you're going to need to get hold of some BTSU firmware. And if you're wondering where you get that from, there's actually a couple of places you can get that from. So first of all, you can get it from your manhunt. So you can see here from scout number 1, I got some BTSU firmware 350. And then from scout number 2, we got 400. So I'm guessing maybe next week we'll get 450. I don't know, but important to get them done. I know people like to save them up for stretch goals at the end of the season, but if you want to be dabbling in different combinations of the seasonal modifiers, it's going to be worth getting them done. They are account based, so it's not like you can do them on 1 character and 2 characters and 3 and things like that. This is account based. That's one place that you can get them. Another place that you can get them is your seasonal journey. So if we go into something that I've not done yet, you can see here on journey number 3, I get 150 BTSU firmware there from doing that. So again, this is worth maxing out your journey, and this gets more and more. So for instance, doing Paradise Lost, you get 335, and from doing Manning National Zoo on Legendary, because everybody hates doing that, but you'll get 320 BTSU firmware. And yeah, definitely worth doing. I absolutely would recommend doing the entirety of the journey to pick all that up. And then if you head into the base of operations, we've got a brand new vendor here that you can see right here, and this is where you can pick up all of the different ones, and you can see which ones I've bought, which ones I've not bought. And it's pretty hard because if you are limited on this firmware so much, it's like, well, I don't want to buy any if I'm not going to use it, or it turns out to not be very good. So let me give you some killer combinations that I've been using to do even tier 10 in escalation, and it making it really easy. Even considering I've been going in with a DPS build, I've been a healer at the same time. That's how good some of these combinations are. Okay, so first up, let's talk about Cloud Armor. And what we're going to do here, you can see here, the stats have changed a little bit because I have changed the passive modifiers. It's going to give us 9% total armor a second for 10 seconds. Now, it does say that the cooldown is 90 seconds. Well, I will question you on that, sir. So what we're going to do, first of all, you're going to put in Saturate Offense in the first slot. And the order that you put these in does matter. So be very careful when you come to slotting these in. Secondary, we're going to go Invert Utility. And then third, we're going to go Saturate Utility. And that's going to give us 20, 20, 70 here. Now, you might think that that seems like a little bit of a waste of time. It's going to give us 10% armor. Well, big whoop. Well, I'll tell you what, we're in the shooting range right now. You can see that Skill Haste is disabled. We can damage ourselves a little bit if we want, just to show what it does. We're going to hit T. And you can see there that now that is actually going to heal us for that 9% for 10 seconds. We could damage ourselves again. As you can see, it's going to continue healing us and anybody else around us. And then it's going to stop. But as you can see, we've only got a 10-second cooldown time before we can just hit it again. And it's going to heal everybody in that radius, which chances are during escalation, you're all within that radius anyway. And you can consistently heal your team being on a full DPS build, and that is some really good healing. And when I did tier 9 and 10, even though we had a healer when they needed time to build up stacks and things like that, this really helped out. Now, I don't think it's necessary for everybody to run this, but one person running this certainly is a huge help. And maybe you could use this if you're not doing escalation, you're struggling at lower tiers, getting through legendary, getting through masters. It's really going to help out when you run out of med kits, and it's a really good team heal as well. Next up, how about some protection from elites? Well, 22.5% protection from elites, along with 20% weapon handling. Well, that's pretty good bonus. as well as 22.5% protection from elites, because it means you don't have to worry about them PFE mods quite as much in your build. What you can do is then put that into more damage, which will help you out. And again, especially when you're looking at legendaries, masters, and escalation. So for this one, the active modifier actually can be anything you like. It doesn't really matter at all. You can see I've still got cloud armor on from the previous example, but what you're going to need for this one, the first one, you're going to want to go to convert one defense. Then you're going to want to go to saturate utility. And then the third one, you want to go to invert defense, and that will give you 20, 45, 20, but it will give you 22.5 protection from elites. So yeah, a really good combination for protection from elites builds, and it might come in really useful when we get to the master mission at the end of the season. But speaking of master missions at the end of the season, I usually like to run some kind of Hasbro Backfire build. Well, I've got a combination that's really going to help you out with that as well. And that is this collection of modifiers right here. Now, this one's going to cost you a little bit more because you're going to need Nullify, and that costs you 1,000 BTSU credits. So just be aware of that one when you build this one out. But as you can see, it gives you 45 Hasbro, 20 weapon handling, and actually 20 skill damage as well. Now, we don't necessarily need the skill damage, but it's pretty great when it gives us the Hasbro and the weapon handling, especially if you're using LMGs and you want that extra reload speed and things like that. But for this one, we're going to put on the Blackout Pulse. You're then going to use Convert to Defense. Next up, you're going to use Compress Defense. And then after that, you're going to use Nullify, which reverse any value changes that have been applied to the lowest module stacks. This one will cost you 1,000. It's pretty expensive, and I'm pretty glad that I found a use for this, because it was really hard to find a use for this. And I was like, I'm sure there's going to be a use for this when I was testing these on the PTS, and it turns out that this seems to be one of the best combinations that comes with it. Now, there might be better combinations than what I'm showing you right now. This is just the best values and the best value add ones that I have found right now when I've had limited spend when it comes to this new currency. All right, so 135% headshot damage. Who doesn't want that? Well, for this, you're going to put on Convert One Offense. Then you're going to put on Saturate Utility. And then next up, you're going to put on Invert Offense, and that will give you 135% headshot damage and 10% maximum armor as well. You can put whatever modifier you want on with this. I've got Blackout Pulse on with it right now. You can put on Cloud Armor. You can see it doesn't change the values around, but you will get different cooldown values depending on what you put on, because obviously we've got different stacks here, and that also affects the cooldown of the active modifier as well. So just be aware of that when I'm talking about this as well, and you might want to find a slightly different combination if you wanted to. For instance, you can also build this with Convert One Offense, Compress Offense, and Nullify, and that will also give you 135% headshot damage. It just depends if you're using perhaps Blackout Pulse, or if you're using Cloud Armor, or if you're using Optimize Overdrive. So just play around with that a little bit and just land on whatever modifier you are using, which is really, really good. Okay, but maybe you don't want to go all in on headshot damage and you want a little bit of extra mag size and max armor and skill damage as well. Well, this is the combination for you. I was talking to one of my clan mates, Biker, and he went with this combination because he wanted to have a bit of both, not just full headshot damage, but you can go Convert One Offense, Convert Two Offense, and then Consume Offense. And as you can see, that will give you 90% headshot damage, 30% magazine size, 7.5% max armor, and 15% skill damage. And if you're running one of the new sets, Core Strength, something like this might be really, really good, because that's going to lean into all of the other stats at the same time as well. All right, let's talk about one more before we go. All right, I had to log in and out for this one to work for some reason. I have no idea why. I think messing around with the modifiers caused the game just to lose its brain a little bit. But for this one, you're going to want to go convert to offense, then saturate utility, and then invert offense. And that's going to give you 45% extra magazine size. I really like this one, especially when you're using LMGs. 45% mag is nothing to cheap out on. It's really, really nice. One other thing that you can do if you want, you can actually go 67% weapon handling. Just going to give this one a little bit of a quick mention with split offense, compress offense, and nullify. But I really don't know why you wouldn't want 67% weapon handling. It just feels like a little bit too much. All right, so next let's talk about cooldowns and skill damage as well. All right, for this one, you can see we've got 67.5% skill damage, which if you're running a skill damage build, this is a huge boost of skill damage. And to get this, you need split utility, compress utility, and nullify. That'll get you 30% weapon handling, 15% maximum armor, and 67.5% weapon skill damage. I use this when I was farming floor 100, and it was really, really good. Just think about refactor builds, perhaps they're being used in escalation as well. This is going to give you a lot of extra skill damage, which is also going to give you a lot of extra healing. Next up, we're going to talk about cooldowns. Now, you can actually get up to 82% cooldown, but it would be every 65 seconds, which is just not worth it when you can do 74% cooldown and actually do that every 35 seconds. And to be able to do this, you're going to want to put on optimize overload, saturate utility, split defense, and saturate offense. And what you can see here, I'll throw out my hive, you can see skill haste is disabled. We'll disable that, we'll hit T, and as you can see, it took off that 74% for the cooldown. Really, really nice. But like I said, if you want to do 82% cooldown, but with less frequency, that is going to be saturate utility, consume utility, and split defense. Just a little bit of a change there, and you can get yourself some higher cooldowns, but I much prefer the 74% cooldown. It's just much better. And last but not least, what about being able to overcharge every 25 seconds? And I'm not even talking about using your BTSU gloves or anything like that. So for instance, you can just see here, let's throw out this hive. We'll press T, and you can see the timer on the countdown is only 25 seconds, which, yeah, is really, really, really cool. To be able to do this, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to put on optimize overload, saturate offense, consume offense, and split utility. Now, it might not give you the longest overcharge, but what you can think here, you can bring back revive hives and things like that if you're in harder content really, really quickly and really, really frequently, as well as giving that boost to skills as well. That will also help you out. They're just some of the really good combinations that I've found out. Let me know if you found out any better combinations down below, because as of right now, we've still got more. I've still got more to unlock, so I might find some better combinations. But yeah, it blows my mind how good these modifiers are, and I'm sure there's some better combinations than what we've gone through in this video. But let me know what you think down below in the comments. Definitely interested to see what your combinations are. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And as always, agents, I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.